Hi, everybody. Welcome back. So, I thought I would share with you something a little different. I'm sure in the past you've seen some of my videos where I've talked about using a wet palette and sometimes just a tile from the hardware store, that we use in the bathroom or kitchen or whatever, as a palette for my paints. Well, I came across a video on the YouTube channel Doctor Faust's painting clinic, and I'll put a link to it, to his channel, in the description. But it's an excellent channel, so if you're interested in painting figures or anything like that, it's definitely a place to go. Very well structured website, lots of videos on how to paint, how to layer, color theory, and other hobby tips, things like that. And this is one of them. And this is what he called a cold palette. So it's a little bit different than a wet palette in that it uses the little ice things that you would put into like your cooler. And it uses the condensation from that to absorb through the microfiber towel and through the tile, which is porous. So I always have difficulty with wet palettes in keeping the consistency of water and paint correct, whether I put less water in it, or paint dries out too fast, or even if I get too much water in it, the paint becomes soup, or just a messy stream of mixed paint, because it just suddenly absorbs all that water and just becomes a big giant mud wash. Even with cracking, even cracking the lid a little bit so that it, if I was trying to store it, allow some evaporation to happen. I can never get that consistency down right. And I was going through his channel and I saw this rather interesting palette, and I started to dig through his videos, and I found his video that was about a cold palette. And what this does, and I'll just kind of show you here. I'm going to take this off real quick. So what he uses are these little freezer blocks that you put in your coolers and stuff like that, for hot summer day, lunches, whatever. These things cost me about $3 total. This is a container from one of my wet palettes. I had a microfiber towel already in the house. You lay that over like this. You put the towel on, or you put the tile on it, and I don't know if I can get this to actually zoom in so you can see it, but there's actually condensation on it. There you go. Now you can see it. Okay. You can see the condensation on there. Okay. And what that does is it actually gives a nice little bead of water on your paint, and it keeps it moist. So put a little drop of paint on here. This is Pro Acryl's Jade. And then what I also do, because I do a lot of washes and layering and everything else, I usually put a little bead of water over here. Okay. And that allows me to, grab a little bit, but you'll see the mixture on this is got a nice consistency. But now I can start adding more paint to this, and it'll stay like this for hours. And so I can use this for quite a while, and it'll stay like this. So as I'm painting, I can mix colors, I can do everything I want. This absorbs into the water that's on here, keeps everything nice and moist, is essentially what I'm trying to say. But words, English language, Victor, So I just thought I'd show this off for those of you who paint figures and have issues with wet palettes, because I know I do quite a lot. Put that back. But what I'll do is I'll come back. I'm going to show you currently what time it is now. On my wife's iPad, it is Sunday, September 3rd at 2:17 p.m. Okay. And I'll come back in a few hours and I'll show you what it's like, just to show you how the consistency works. I'll see you all real soon. Hey everybody, we're back for part 2 on this, and wanted to show you what time it was. It's Sunday, September 3rd, it's 7:18. So when I left this, it was like, what, 2:20 in the afternoon, so a little bit over 5 hours, or just about 5 hours now. And let me show you what... Oh, in the meantime, while I do this, I did some painting because I didn't want to waste all this time waiting for stuff to happen. But here's the original jade paint and the original little blob of water I put on here. And as you can see, still very useful. It's 5 hours later. And a little blob of water. And as you can see, maybe, let's see if I can. If I can zoom in a little bit here, you can see a little bit more. There's more condensation on the tile now. So one thing I didn't mention before, if you wish to reduce the amount of condensation that comes up through the tile itself, you can fold over. I'll take this off. Just to save space, I tuck this under. You can do this. Okay. And you can double it over, and then that'll reduce the amount of moisture that comes up through the towel into the tile. So depending on weather conditions or what you need painting wise, whatever else, you can adjust that. Right now, it's been a little humid here. It was raining pretty good last night and everything else, so I had just left it that way just so I could show you what this would look like after a few hours. Okay. And that is my cat Muffin. She's trying to say hello, if you can hear her. Yes, I hear you too. Okay. So that's all I have. Again, folks, I'm not saying that this is the best thing in the world. This works for what I do and how I paint. This is a wonderful hobby, and for everything that you will come across, there's 100 different ways to do that one particular process. And if you ask a question on a forum or even in a video like this or anything like that, you're going to get a ton of different answers. Always my advice to anybody who asks me about anything like this is, if you ask a question, you get a bunch of different answers, look for the simplest way to go first. Start with that. And if that doesn't work, then continue on, right? You don't want to spend, tons of money on things that you don't have yet, you may not need, may be overkill, whatever the case may be, right? But use your best judgment, right? And just kind of go from there. So again, I'm really digging this cold palette. For me, I think it's going to be a game changer for me in the way I paint. And it eliminates, like I stated, the issues that I continue to have with a wet palette. And I'm just going to use it. So I hope this was useful. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope everybody is doing well. I have been painting figures, obviously, with all this paint. In fact, most of the colors on there today went to go paint this figure. There's a little D&D figure. So I painted this with essentially all the colors that are over here. So I did that while I was waiting for the rest of this to go on so I can finish this video today. So again, hope everybody's doing well. Thank you to all the new subscribers I've picked up. I've picked up a few since my last video. Thank you very much for tuning in and subscribing. All my long-term subscribers, thank you very much for sticking with me. And I hope you're all doing very, very well. Best of luck to you all, and I'll see you soon. Bye.